My sister died. I found her dead in her room. The doctors think that she overdosed or something like that, but she wasn't like that. She would never do that. I keep seeing the images of her body sprawled out on the floor. Her lips were pale, eyes slightly opened. I get a shiver down my spine every time I think about it. Due to my family's wealth, we were able to arrange a funeral as soon as the day preceding her death. Her body was buried in the family cemetery, which was right next to our house. The window in my room was facing it. I couldn't help but stare out my window that night after her funeral. It was so hard to fall asleep, but eventually I did. I finally got some sleep. But my dreams were interrupted by me suddenly being startled awake by something. At first I was confused. I had no clue as to what could have awoken me. But then I heard a scream. It sounded muffled and terrified. I quickly ran down my stairs and out into the yard. Slowly, I walked around my lawn, checking to see where the noise came from. But seeing and hearing nothing else, I decided to go back to sleep. It took me a while to fall asleep again, but I eventually did. I will never forget the dream that I had that night. I dreamt that my sister was alive and screaming to me from inside the coffin, begging me to help her. It seemed like the dream lasted forever, until, of course, I woke up, panicked and sweating. I tried to explain to my parents that I needed to check. I needed them to open the coffin and make sure that she was really dead. Of course, they sent me to a counselor. It's official. They thought their daughter was a whack job. The counselor was nice, and after about a week of talking to me for 30 minutes every day, she decided that I needed the closure. She got some people who worked at the morgue to dig up the body. When I found out the news, my heart sank. When they dug up the coffin and opened it up, there were scratches on the lid, and her fingernails were practically torn off. When she went into that coffin, she was alive, but then she died due to suffocation. I was right. My sister was trying to warn me. Now, let's see if your family gets to you in time. My latest victim's eyes widened as I finished the story. She was not as rude as the others. She didn't mumble or try to scream through the rags that I shoved in her mouth. I had almost set her free. That was until she started to cry. That only made me mad. How could she cry? How is she that weak? She at least stands a fighting chance. She at least knows what she's going into. My sister didn't get that chance. I could see her start to struggle as I stood up and threw a disposable phone into the coffin with her. Her restraints were on tight, so I doubted that she would get loose and be able to call someone. Even if she did, she has no clue where she is. I closed the lid and climbed out of the hole that I had spent so much time digging. I started to laugh as I dropped dirt scoop by scoop into the coffin, and it brought tears of joy when I heard her muffled, terrified screams. As I finished the job and started to walk away, I smiled to myself. They won't get to her in time. They never found the other 6. Just like they will never find my other many victims I have planned. And just to think, I got the inspiration for my joyous new hobby from my sister.
Hello, friends and followers. Did you see that end coming? Because I definitely didn't. Today's story was written by our very own Silverskyx, and I'm really sorry if I mispronounced that. So please be sure to leave a like or a comment to tell them how much you liked it. I, for one, love seeing how creative you all are. So if you have a story you would like to hear me narrate, leave me a comment down below or send me an email in the address in the description and tell me all about it. I'm also always open to suggestions, so if you would like to recommend a creepypasta, I'd love to hear about that also. Thank you as always for listening, and I can't wait to see you right here again next time for another tale of terror.
My latest victim's eyes. Shit.